May May 8th, 2015. Weird idea I want to share. So, it's an idea that's gone through my head before, which is what would the brilliance be of the story of Jesus, later the Christ, if it is each and every one of our story? Because really, when you think about it, what the fuck do I care about some other dude? You know? Really, I mean, if you were to think about it, just really what do I care about this cat who lived on the earth 2,000 something years ago? Yada, 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 whatever. Really, what does that have to do with me? It has everything to do with you. It's you. So, and then I was just thinking, these are just ideas, but, like the idea of when he, when he was chosen, or when, let's just say, when Jesus the man, all right, was became infused with Christ, or became Christ, something like that. When he did that, carpentry was history. It was like, deuces, I got something else to do. And so that's us. All right? Once that thing has become part of you, and blah 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 blah, whatever, and then you come to the realization, see, this isn't a freaking mental exercise or something that any human can carry out in his own will, because then it's not the thing at all. You can't force yourself to live an esoteric life and carry out these you're doing the things, but the life of it is nowhere there. But you're still doing the things, like getting up on a stage. You're doing stuff, but you are not really doing it, right? Whatever. It's not really happening. But so back up. So you give up this life. But again, not a mental exercise. It's something that follows the true infusion, right? It happens. And you say, oh, okay, my whole life has been leading up to this. This is a wrap. Okay. And this becomes the ministry, but not the ministry like certain religious organizations, many religious organizations would have you believe. It's an individual ministry. It is letting the Christ in you do his ministry in whatever form or fashion that might be. He'll do it. You've basically said goodbye to the Jesus part of you, the human part of you, and said, okay, that guy, he's as good as gone. This is the beginning of the end for him. But he needed those lessons in his life. He needed to live that life out as a human being. And that's what brought him here. All of it, all of what he went through were stepping stones that led right to here. And so you get to there. And then, so then life changes, because now Christ, whatever word you want to call it, whatever the thing is that's now become the most important part of your existence. Uh, the most that life, when that power has turned on in you, it shines the way it shines, and you're just kind of going along for the ride. And then the second thing that I was thinking about, as far as relation between ourselves here now and this Jesus character we've learned about becoming the Christ, was the manner of his death. And he chose to die, right? That's so evident. That's the nugget that we need to pick up from that account. When those soldiers came in the night with swords and their torches, and they were ready for blood after Jesus, he knew. He knew. And he not only knew it, he knew that was part of the whole thing, just as every step he took was part of the whole thing. This was part of it. He spent his, big portion of his adult. Well, let me back that up. Hold on, I'm getting confused. He spent, 3 years or so doing the thing that his humanity had brought him to. Okay? That's a very small amount of time, though, isn't it? When you compare it to he'd lived for 30 years already, or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but at any rate, huge portion of learning lessons and understanding that what it is to be a human. And then, okay, that was the preparation for the second phase, I guess, which was now living differently and laying down of that ego in a not literal sense yet. But then, after this brief period of allowing the love to just generate itself, radiate outward, 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 and do what he came to do, part of what he came to do, then that was it. And so then at that point, like I said, the Bible is clear that there was no struggle on his part anyway. He knew that was part of his story, was that perhaps the thing that we haven't understood is that being a human was not meant to be forever. It's not meant to be forever, and it never was. Perhaps. I don't know. I'm just saying. Maybe it was. Maybe this is just a part of it, a part of the puzzle. But let's just say it's not. This is supposed to be an experience. And perhaps one of many. One of an endless. Who knows? But at any rate, is that where we're headed? Is that what the evolution of humankind is? I want to evolve as a human so that I can hand over my humanity in the final analysis, so that I could lay it down, lay the body down, the flesh and blood and the bones and everything, the identity, lay it back down again gently to the earth and fly away? Is that the whole point of the thing? Hmm. What person in their right mind, besides Christ, would say, hmm, I see that I've done my thing. And this part of my existence is coming to a close. I wonder if we can, again, these are just things that came through my mind or whatever. But who knows? Well, what if? And what if we read those things, and not even Christ? I mean, what if it's even beyond that? What if every person who's brought us some of the light? I mean, what if there's lessons in all of it? But let's just say for this, since this is our discussion right now, what if in the scriptures and other writings, I'm reading one, a equestrian Gospel of the Christ or something like that it's called. I'm just reading it because I read lots of stuff, right? But apparently they've got this, and this information is supposed to be what happened to him for 18 years between when he got left behind in the temple when he was 12, then he popped back up again back in Jerusalemish area, Judea area, 30 years later or so, 30 years old or something. I mean, what happened in all that time? Well, the idea is that he traveled to the east, and he, basically in a nutshell, he learned, he became a yogi, he came back, and he applied some of the things he learned, because we always like to think, well, he knew everything. No, he was a human freaking being. That's the whole point of this. Anything that he did or could do, in all fairness, we should be able to do too. If, now let me change that up a little bit. If we weren't able to do it, it wouldn't be because of the impossibility of it for us. The things that he was able to do should be something that we would be able to do too, if in the appropriate circumstances to apply those things. So what am I saying here, right? I should be able to freaking heal people. If I'm saying me, but me, if I got to that point where he got to, after he learned and studied and this and that as a human being. The whole story is fucked if there's no point for him to fucking do any of it if he wasn't a human being. A regular human being. Okay? All the stories, all of it is shit and pointless if he wasn't a human. So, any person, including myself and including you, who would be able to come to the understanding or awareness that he did, and to any of us should be able to manifest love in the quote miraculous ways that he did. Okay, so who knows? Who the heck knows? But anyway, I kind of digressed, and then I digressed, and then I digressed after beyond that. So I need to kind of get this pony back where it needs to be. So I was just wondering if what if everything that was written about him that really did happen? What if we look at those things and say, okay, so obviously the details are different, but I should be able to do the things he did too, you know? And what if we look at the things that he did and realize that those things that he did are a recording of the things that we also would do. Each and every one of us as individuals will have to go through all of those things. We're not going to be this exact place on the planet, and we're not going to have the same people in our human existence that he did, but we will get to these, like, I don't know what to call them, these different types of situations in our lives too. The story that was written was our story, perhaps. So, and if that's it, will one day humankind rejoice when they feel and witness and experience manifestations of love from within themselves? Will they rejoice to realize that it's a process that will come to a conclusion, but still enjoy the process, you know? And all this talk about attachments in this world, on this in this place, in this realm, is that all? Is that what it's really about? The attachment to ourselves, the ultimate attachment to our human identity in this place. And we saw him. We didn't see him. We read of his physical state, his mental state as a human man when the time was drawing closer for him to end this experience. And so we can conclude that it would be stressful, because no matter how holy you are or enlightened or whatever, you know, there's that point where it's going to reach a conclusion. And that's big. You know? So that's it. A lot to think about. That's it, a lot to think about. It's not meant to do what people do. So you take the words and you start trying to do something. If it's not coming from that core place, if that's not the source of the things you're doing in your life, then it's not the thing. You can't copycat the thing, because it's still not the thing. So, what to think about. And almost 20 minutes. So I'm going to say goodnight. Much love.